Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Studio Series 86 line. This is Leader Class Sludge. I got this figure off of Amazon, where it is available in shipping right now, along with Studio Series Galvatron, Studio Series Bumblebee the Movie Thundercracker, as well as Studio Series 86 Voyager Class Junk Heap. And unfortunately, speaking of junk heap, I have to tell you that this figure basically belongs on a junk heap. I cannot, at this point in time, recommend purchasing this figure. As you'll see, it is suffering from severe quality control issues. I even have some problems that other people don't have that have made this figure that much more worse. My issues basically all the panels along the top not pegging together securely. But then again, if they did, it would probably make it that much more difficult to open up and take apart. The majority of the issues has to do with the fact that the hips and knees, even though they are on ratchets, are incredibly loose, and because of that, it makes the transformation at times a floppy mess, which we will see once we get into it. Before we get into the transformation, if you haven't already, please subscribe, and upon completing this video, please leave a like. That helps with the algorithms with YouTube. But starting off in Brontosaurus mode, and I am going to call this Brontosaurus mode because when Sludge was originally created, Brontosauruses did exist. So, and I'm not getting into the whole Brontosaurus, Apatosaurus, doesn't existosaurus debate. I'm confused now, Maybe dinosaurs didn't exist at all, who knows. But yeah, this was called a Brontosaurus, and that's what it is. And Beast Mode is a little underwhelming. I am not going to lie, this should have been one of the largest Dinobots in Beast Mode, but instead, it's around the same size as a Slag. And yes, I know I have to review Slag. We will get to him, don't worry. In robot mode, the scale is fine, so I guess that's what they were really going for. But other than that, you do have an opening mouth here with a toothy jaw. There is a little peg right there for a blast effect, so it can shoot fire. There is articulation here in the neck with the head. But if you start getting too crazy with it, it does seem to look a little unnatural. There is movement with the legs and the feet, but for the most part, those front ones are static. The rear ones become the robot mode limbs, so there is a little bit more play there. There is actually, one thing I haven't seen mentioned in other reviews is there is a double joint in there that will help actually bend this leg properly. The tail is static, as was with most of the Dinobots. So that's about it for the robot dinosaur mode. We'll pause and get into the transformation. Alrighty, I did adjust the camera a little. Might have to do some adjustments here and there, but overall transformation is not that difficult. What you want to do is start off, open up this back panel here, and then fold it down just like so, and then come into the front here and just remove the blaster before we forget to do anything else, and swing out and down the wings of the front torso, and then from there unpeg the dinosaur head. And I will show you in robot mode, but this does come attached, so there is some movement there. One thing you can start to do now is, I think really before you get too crazy, is unpeg the front legs, rotate them around so they will swivel in place. There's a little bit more of a finagling to them, but we'll get to that a little bit later. So keep those wings down. Flip up what will be Sludge's head, and then come up here and lift up that red section, rotate it down and around, and then bring it down into place. At this point, rotate the arms forward. And what you can do, I guess, to make your life a little bit easier now is the tabs that were holding the legs in place in dinosaur mode can now be used to secure somewhat the wings, torso bits here in what will be robot mode. Next, what you want to do is come around to the bottom here in the leg section, and first start by separating everything. Well, you really want to just separate this top section, but because of how floppy things are, it will just, that might open up everything else. Swing that out of the way, swing the tail section out of the way, and now bring the whole back section down. And there are some tabs here that will peg into friction slots on the inside of the leg, and that will help. And if you notice, this is what I was talking about. As of right now, everything's a floppy mess. I'm actually surprised the legs have stayed together. Usually by this point, they've detached and they would be even floppier. So count some blessings, but go ahead, bring those up. Oh, and doing so, that did separate the legs, so you want to straighten them out. And believe it or not, we're almost done, but as you can see, this is what I'm talking about in terms of the floppy. Continuing here on the bottom, what you want to do is make sure that's out of the way. Fold this piece back and around, and that will fold into the back set, the rear of the leg, and there's a little tab there. There is a little tab here on the tail that will, when you collapse it up, should hold into place. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Repeat here on that leg. Do the same thing. So yeah, this one doesn't hold as well, and it is a little tricky to get it to line up, but that's about, unfortunately, as good as it's going to get. It's yeah. Finally, what you want to do to finish up this lower section is fold out the heels on a double hinge. Make sure they actually peg into the foot. Otherwise, you're going to end up with some really floppy feet, and that's actually how they come outside of the box. So if you notice your feet are floppy out of the box, that's what's going on. So got the figure standing up. Let's adjust the camera so we can finish the transformation. With the legs here, you want to just, I think the instructions actually show the feet folding up like so, but I actually just noticed one is like a little, one foot is a little bit, wait, do you know, guys, see this? One leg is a little bit longer almost than the other. I wonder how that's happening. You can fold it up like this. I think I prefer to do it like this, so it folds a little more flush. Keep those joints looking a little straight. Maybe it was just me. There's a tab here on the Brontosaurus head that's fit into a slot behind the neck. But before we do that, this is on basically a little sliding clip. This is, the head comes separate. All you got to do is, see that clip right there? Slide it in with the Brontosaurus head facing away from the robot mode head. So just go ahead, pardon the pun, do that, just like so. Nice and tight. Make sure you got these wing sections pegged in. Now to finish off the arms, what you want to do, you'll hear the little snap here. You're going to grab the forearm, push it up slightly. That will help. That will actually align the arms correctly. Using your thumb, there's a little tab there, rotate it out, rotate the arm at the bicep, rotate the hand at the wrist, do it again on this side. Hear that snap? Right there, using your thumb, push that tab in, rotate at the bicep, rotate at the wrist, and for lack of a better word, Sludge is done. So, yeah, I am not gonna lie, he looks cool, but ooh, sorry. Adjusting there. He looks cool, but he's floppy. The rifle can be held in either hand. Very animation accurate. There are supposed to be ratchets in the hips, knees, shoulders. Really, the elbows are single jointed, but if you disengage that hinge for dinosaur mode, you can get a bit more of a rotation out of it. Head is on a ball joint, but it's a little limited. If you're going to start moving it, it's really that panel that's used for transformation, but it does swivel. And of course, the wrist swivel. Oh, and of course, with all modern Transformers for the last few years, you do have some ankle pivot. But I really don't think you're going to use it. And I almost forgot, you want to rotate this figure around at the waist. No charge for the mistakes, folks. So you want the toes facing forward. Oh boy. How long was that going to last? Oh wow, that was something. Ooh, nearly. Yep. That's a classic Chuck moment right there. Classic Chuck. But not for nothing, I think he was standing better with his waist backwards. But yep, that's about all I can really say now for Sludge. I do want to say I have heard about a bunch of different fixes for the floppiness, and I just want to urge you all to be very careful. One thing I've heard is about using the shaft of a Q-tip cut down and pushing it into the tooth joint of the ratchet. I have heard from several different sources that is not a good idea, because what will then happen is the joint won't flex naturally and can cause the teeth to grind down very quickly, and you'll be in a worse state than you are now. So there's that. So we'll pause, and we'll come back with my final thoughts. As we always do, I like to end these Studio Series 86 reviews with the figure displayed on the backdrop. This looks to be the inside, I almost want to say the Quintesson base. It's that blue background I think we've seen a few times. But yeah, I mean, Sludge does pose quite nicely. And really, there's no point to me investing in any of the add-on kits to fix the figure. And nor should I have to pay extra to have a figure that's not a floppy mess, since this is really just going to go on a shelf, and it will stand on its shelf fine, and then once the Studio Series 86 line is over, it will go back into a box, probably never to be touched ever again. Again, as I said at the beginning, I strongly recommend waiting until for a later release of Sludge, where the quality control possibly has been fixed. I will say there's a good chance it won't be, because that's just how Hasbro rolls. Unfortunately, by the time that will happen, the return window on, if you buy off of Amazon or really from any retailer, will close. So even if you want to like buy it now and then wait to return it, you're going to be out of luck. So definitely you have to wait on buying Sludge. If it doesn't get fixed, chances are most people will just pass on them, which means you might be able to get it at a discount. But at the leader class price point it's going for right now, this figure is not worth it. And that's very sad for me to say, because the leader class Dinobots in the Studio Series 86 line have basically been the best figures usually that Hasbro puts out. And in terms of animation accuracy, transformation, and just fun playability. I mean, to finally have a set of Dinobots accurate to the old classic cartoon is, really mind-boggling. So, that's about it. This is your old pal Chuck for Studio Series 86 Sludge. We will see you next time.